Well, good King Wenceslas went out to the pizza parlor and ordered a pizza. And the assistant asked, "How do you want your pizza? The usual, deep and crisp and even?" Okay, yeah. Deep and crisp and even. Okay. I know you love my jokes. There's no more. That's it. It's like there's got to be more to that joke. So today is our fourth Sunday of Advent again, where it's my favorite theme of joy. And, Advent means the coming of the Christ. Did you know that? That's what Advent means. And so metaphysically, Advent means that time of year when we come into a deeper awareness of the Christ nature we inherently are. And so that Christ nature during Advent is reborn in us in our awareness and our claiming and our expression. And so that expression means we activate, what unity teachings, a core teaching in unity is the 12 powers, right? Are you familiar with the 12 powers? If you're not, what the 12 powers are, here we are, okay, so unity teaches that we are divine and holy. That's our nature. And so I kind of relate it to a diamond. And the 12 powers are the facets of that diamond and their attributes. And they include strength and life and love and power and zeal. And I have been boldly declaring for a long time that there's another one, that there's 13 powers, and that joy is the 13th power. And I understand that Paul Hasselbeck, who's been writing a book on the 12 powers, has decided to include joy in his book. Because joy is an inherent power. And so I just want to talk about that today because here we are. And, this last week, in the news, just every week in the news, seems to be more interesting than the last. And so it might not be, in this moment, our immediate go-to to claim joy. And so I just want to presence that with us because, this is the season of joy. And also, not everybody always feels joyful this time of year. This can be a difficult time, especially for those of us that have had family members that have left our lives or, whatever we're working with. So I just want to talk a little bit about joy and remind us what's really true about it. Because I believe that joy is what we experience when we say yes to the fullness of life, to giving and receiving from our hearts. And of course, at Christmas, we need only to turn to the people that model it the best, and that's our children, right? Joy to them comes from being in constant wonder of the newness of life. Children live in the present moment, and they say yes to it, exploring life because it's awe and wonder. I'm emoting. I'm so excited about it. Because, last week, if you were here, you saw my little Peanut, I call her Peanut, goddaughter. And so what happened last week after the music service, which, by the way, was magnificent, wasn't it? The music service, yes. Is that Jill? Hi. Jill Robbins is with us. Jill has been in China. Sorry, I diverged. I'm so glad you're here. Seek another joy. So what happened last week was that my little Peanut goddaughter, we went out to lunch and then came home, had a daytime rest. And then we did the winter lights. And then we did Christmas presents. And so my goddaughter walked into my house and she saw my big Christmas tree and she was like, touch, want to. It was so sweet just to see her eyes light up at a Christmas tree. and giving me this hilarious gift. I just wanted to share with you this gift that she gave me. Well, there's a little story. I do love pink flamingos. And I have a lit one in my basement, and she's always fascinated by that. And I have a few pink flamingo ornaments on my tree, and so she was so cute. She had this thing wrapped, and it was all tape. It had tape. And she comes in, she goes, Sheryl. Anyway, so it was really, I just wanted to share this with you. I'll put him right here. That's good. Okay, and the winter lights. It was so fun to be in the car with her, and she was like, oh, and the soldier's pointing. It was really awesome. It was awesome. So they're great teachers for us. So, okay, what is joy? It is an innate, inherent attribute of our divine nature. It is not contingent on the outer conditions of life, folks. It's not. It is a part of us. It is us, regardless of whether we're feeling it or not, regardless of what's going on out here. But what I believe is when we access our joy, we are better able to move through the experiences of life and see the blessing in them. When we can see the world through the lens of joy, we access our gratefulness because we can connect readily with what we love. I think love and joy work in tandem together. Joy also activates our well-being. If you're familiar with the emotional spectrum of vibration, joy and gratefulness are the highest vibratory emotions. And so in Proverbs 17:22, it says, a cheerful heart is good medicine. And that's true. Because joy activates our well-being. It's good for our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, our emotional health. It strengthens our immune system. There's also another scripture, and I got to tell you, so joy is something that's really alive in me. And the very first time I spoke in a Unity church, it was Unity of Washington, D.C., in 1997, and I spoke on joy. And I have been digging into joy, just what it means to me spiritually, what it means to us spiritually. And I've heard this scripture a million times, but it just hit me in a new way this week when I was working with the joy of the Lord is your strength. That's from Nehemiah. The joy of the Lord is your strength. And so it strengthens us to feel joy. And why does it strengthen us? Because when we can feel joy, we can navigate this world that looks a little cray-cray right now and chaotic in a way that's mindful, in a way that's grounded in faith, that there really is a blessing in everything. It's what I love about the strengthening power of joy is that I can be assured that there's good. And it activates what I love is that joy works in tandem not only with love, but it activates our faith. I navigate joyfully because I have faith that there's goodness and there's a blessing in whatever I'm seeing. It also works in tandem with our wisdom and our understanding. Because when we're discerning what is ours to do, there is such great joy to say yes to the wisdom that's surfacing. Do you know what I mean? There's great joy when we say yes to our wisdom. And I love that question, what is mine to do? And when we answer that, we can move forward with clarity and confidence, which brings joy. And so I was perusing the internet and I found this just beautiful video about this young man that experienced joy through following his wisdom. And I just felt led to share it with you this morning. So, Keith, let's see that video now.
Our Steve Hartman is a heart specialist. He can spot a good one a mile away.
By any logical standard, 2 years ago, Eugene Yoon made the craziest decision of his life.
remember kind of just like looking up at the sky and being like, God, are you sure about this? Because I'm pretty happy right now.
Did it feel like that, like a calling?
It felt like a calling.
What Eugene felt called to do was one really big random act of kindness. He didn't know who he was supposed to help or how. All he knew was that he had to help someone, and it had to be life-altering. And that's when a video came across his Facebook page. As we first reported in 2015, it was a video of a guy he never met named Arthur Renowitsky. After being mugged, shot, and paralyzed 10 years ago, Arthur vowed that he would walk again someday. And when Eugene heard about that, he called Arthur immediately.
He wasn't going to give up until I was walking again.
To walk again.
To walk again.
And you don't have a medical degree.
I have a film degree.
Which makes you wonder then, how were you going to make him walk again?
This is the part I had no idea.
Eventually, though, he learned about this exoskeleton device that can help some people walk again. Unfortunately, it costs about $80,000. So, to pay for it, Eugene quit his job at a research company in Northern California to hike.
Here we go.
From the California-Mexico border to Canada.
We're going.
Along the way, he posted videos of the adventure and asked people to donate on social media. Until roundabout mid-Washington state,
We did it!
when Eugene learned
We did it!
that he had reached his fundraising goal.
You're gonna walk!
A few weeks later, Arthur did walk, right into the arms of a total stranger who made it all possible.
I'm so happy for you. Thank you, brother.
I call him my brother now. We are brothers. I'm just very thankful to have a friend like him.
Since this story first aired, Eugene has been looking for another total stranger to help with another huge act of kindness. And here he is. Alberto Velasquez lives in poverty with 24 family members under one roof. Eugene met Alberto's family on Skid Row in Los Angeles and then hired Alberto, a skilled seamster, to help start a clothing line called Kin Love Gras. Proceeds will guarantee Alberto and his family a living wage and fund many other kindness projects to come. Eugene may have started with a walk,
Yes!
but is now clearly up and running. Steve Hartman, on the road, in Los Angeles.
Isn't it beautiful? The joy of answering the call of love on our hearts. And see, and that also took great discernment. He said yes, not knowing how he was going to express his love, but he just kept holding in his strength and in his knowing. And I love that. That's the power of joy, folks, and, giving. When we give, and of course this is the season of giving, and I just want to say to this amazing community, it's been the season of giving all 2018. Because, well, first of all, I want to acknowledge that this community just provided gifts for 68 children of parents who are incarcerated at Clarksburg Prison. It's amazing. And I tell you, just to be in that gift wrapping room, there was so much joy. And Edie was describing when the woman came and picked it up, they were just in pure joy. And we have been giving as a community, Gaithersburg Middle School, Manna, the Family Justice Center, it goes on. And so the joy that we get from expressing our love, folks, it's just such a blessing to us as we give. We give boldly, we receive boldly. And it's all about, to me, focusing on what it is we love. We love to give here in this community, and we do it with such joy, with such heart. Mother Teresa said, joy is a net of love by which you can catch souls. A joyful heart is the inevitable result of a heart burning with love. So I just want to encourage us right now, in this season, however way you're experiencing this season, if you can connect with what it is you love. Because remember, in our fall book study, Wayne Muller said, asked us to reflect on what it is that we love. And the last question he asked us to reflect on was, what is my gift to the planet of the earth? And this beautiful young man just demonstrated for us the gift that he gave from his heart of love is reaching out to a complete stranger. And I don't know if that's yours to do, but what I do know is that when we center in our hearts of love and we declare, I'm declaring 2019 the year of joy. Regardless of what's happening out there, folks, when we can get centered in our hearts on what we love and we say yes to that through our discernment, we will create joy in our lives. And I'm just holding that and I'm knowing that not only for us in this room, but for the greater world. And so what I'm going to invite you to do, given that 2019 is the year of joy, I have another prop here. What my friend and I, my friend Lenny and I have been doing for years now, we've been doing declarations. And so we decided a couple years ago that we were going to combine the declarations in our commitment to create joy. So this is my joy jar. And so what we do throughout the year, like on December 31st, we will review our year. We will share our joys with each other that we have collected in our joy jars for the last year. And it's so fun. So I get to hear all about Lenny's joys, and then she gets to hear all about mine, and then we put them away or whatever. She saves hers, and then we start over January 1st, and we have little bits of paper, like I have little index cards. And every time I have a joyful experience, I put it in this joy jar. They're crammed. And it's just a way for me, this has been an interesting year in my life, with my mom and everything. And, when life can feel kind of heavy sometimes, I just open up this jar and I pull out an entry and I'm like, oh yeah. It's so great. It's so great. In the midst of our lives, there is such great joy. And so if this speaks to you, I just invite you to just go to Target and get you a little jar and collect your joys and maybe pick someone special in your life to share it with you at the end of the year. So, okay. Merry Christmas. And let's just let joy, folks, just flow out from us because we're saying yes to what's loved in our hearts. And thank you for the ways you give in this world. You create so much joy, and I don't even know if you know how much joy you create. Through sharing your gifts and talents, through the light you shine in this world, you are joy, and thank you for that. Let's make 2019, regardless of what's happening in the outer world, be our year of joy. Are you with me? Okay, all right. Let's affirm together. I bring joy to the world as I express my Christ nature freely from love. And so it is.